Vinit Goenka, he is a member of the Governing Council of CRIS and in the Ministry of Railways. Mr. Goenka, infrastructure. In your view, sir, is infrastructure going to be India's primary job growth driver?
If I have to answer this in one particular line, I would say earlier days civilization has to happen on the banks of river. Now it happens on the banks of road.
Correct.
And the last couple of years, if you see the way the roads have been built up, especially in the last 3 years, it's a phenomenal change which we have been done. If I have to give you figures, 1,12,000 kilometers of road plus 22,000 kilometers of highway, it's going to change the entire infrastructure face of the country. And that is going to give a lot of jobs. It is going to boost the economy. Unfortunately, any infrastructure projects take 4 to 5 years to complete.
Yes.
Until these projects are over, there are some displacements, some disagreements. So what we are seeing right now is the phase where the implementation of the projects has been happening.
Yes.
And maybe in the days to come, we will all harness the benefits of
Okay,
this.
but when you say, look, and you're absolutely right, civilization now are built on roads. Roads open up areas. But how do we balance that in terms of creating jobs? So where do you see the job growth happening? Is it going to be actually in the engineering, in the labor that is going to be required to build the infrastructure facilities, all the ancillaries that will be opened up by this?
So one particular industry is the road building industry itself.
Yes.
But if you see, that is not what is the job creation which has been targeted, but the jobs which are created alongside the road. Once the area is connected, once the market is connected, then there are factors which come up. If you see the agricultural produce, in India, most of the yield is wasted on the road.
Yes.
So if you connect them, then you would come out with cold chains, there may be logistic hubs which are there, and this is going to create permanent jobs.
Okay.
So the jobs in industry which is making a road,
Yes.
which is construction industry, is one part, but the jobs which are created on the roads after the road is constructed, the cost of logistic is actually a waste. If I don't want to add this,
Yes.
to the consumer. The consumer is paying the cost of products produced, maybe agricultural produce or industrial produce, plus logistic cost. If that cost comes down, then the consumer benefits and overall the economy improves.
So,
the better the roads, like just to give an example, 24% of the NHI is 4-lane. Rest, there is a lot of improvement. Once we
yes.
convert everything into 4-lane, the speed will increase. When the speed increases, then the wastage will go down, the cost will come
and
down.
go down. Okay.
So if I go a little further about what you said, so it's all about life expectancy and the quality of life which they
Correct.
live. Right now, if I take an example of Mumbai, there was a linear movement, north-south movement. Everybody wanted to go to office which is there in the South Mumbai,
Yes.
and they were going northbound. Now this created pressure on the infrastructure.
Correct.
And as well as individuals were suffering because they had less quality time for their families. or
Absolutely.
office. Now, once you start creating hubs which are at different places, and if you see the new rail timetable which has come up, which is the first time a rational timetable has come where they have left the point to point, not to south point. Now, there are stations which are midpoint to midpoint. For example, a train starts from Bhayandar and ends at Malad.
And that's
Now,
it. It's
so,
not
what they are
just
trying to do is they are
continuous
trying to
train process, yes.
promote Bhayandar and Malad also.
Yes.
Now, this will ease the pressure which was there on Worli or Dadar or this kind of thing. So the disasters which you saw can be avoided because if you try to disintegrate this particular thing and you create that infrastructure there itself in the suburbs.
Okay, because this is visible. Brij, this is visible.
Yeah, so there are 2 points which I think the both railway and road, both the ministers always talk about, and which should be heard is speed. They're trying to bring in the speed of connectivity.
For obvious reasons.
So then you don't have to move towards the office. You can stay where you are staying and
Yes.
easily reach the place of work.
Speed, connectivity, safety and service. That's what you talk about. But Brij, on
Exactly, we all agree about this, and this is what I think the current regime has done. It's studied this problem, whether we would like to create another problem to solve the first problem. So what if you see the northeast project of accelerating the road projects there in the northeast.
Yes.
So we were pained, and I think everybody was pained to see our brethren from northeast coming to Bangalore and Delhi and working in a petty jobs. When
Yes.
I'm saying petty jobs, they could have got the same job and the same money there.
back home, yes.
Yeah. So, they're earning, but they're superficially earning because they're paying rent, they're spending everything here, and they're not carrying any value back home there. So, if you see the total package, which is there, 4,095 crore rupees package has been done there in Northeast. And if you see how Zairo has been connected, how the Guwahati-Shillong road has been expanded for. Now, this entire infrastructure built up in the Northeast will give employment and opportunities of job creations in Northeast.
True
so,
that.
we will not see this immigration happening.
But
this
the
problem
point
of
he's
ballooning,
making.
I'll take 1 minute. The ballooning of this already big balloon cities will be solved because now we are trying to stop this immigration coming.
When it comes to infrastructure spending, it is the municipal bodies that do the last mile. Do they need more cash? We've seen a big trait in this government moving away from central and giving more. funding support to the state governments. You saw it happen very famously in the coal block allocations. Can it go down to the municipal level? Let's have that conversation. My guests are still with me. Mr. Vinit Goenka, what can be done?
So, there are policy reforms which have been done, unprecedented policy reforms which have been done.
I'm told 7,000-8,000 of them.
Yeah. And I'll give you one simple example. If you have heard about cabotage law, which is there.
Yes.
Now it's a simple thing because no common man was impacted by that. Nobody talked about it. Nobody knew that this is going to impact the common man, whereas it is not directly related with the common man. And relaxation of that in the shipping has helped the industry get their goods over water. Now this is going to reduce the cost of logistic, A. B. It is going to reduce the pain which is there on the land.
Yes.
There are less land acquisitions for road. Now I will give you one more example. The entire Jal Marg Vikas which is going on.
Yes.
We used to have fantastic river navigation till 1830s or 1840s. But systematically it was killed over it. So the first waterways which has been completed till Bara, this is near Patna from Calcutta.
Yes.
Now we are going to transport goods and passengers up and down the stream without touching a single inch of land. So you're not going to take over the land. There is no.
That's a fascinating idea. But when it comes down, okay, so we are interconnectivity becomes easier. The logistics become cheaper. That has a direct benefit to everyone who's watching this broadcast as citizens in this country. But when it comes down, first let's just discuss the civic infrastructure. You specialize in railways. We were discussing issues about decongesting things like the Mumbai Railway. Is there a big idea there, or is it just a spending problem?
No, there have been discussion. There have been teams which have been coming. For example, if you see in the Mumbai, there was a disaster which was there in the Elphinstone station because of this. Now, nowhere before in this, a geospatial study was done. Now, there is a scientific study being done. The other day, Prime Minister talked about reducing the space between the common man and ISRO.
Yes.
Now, everybody was wondering what is that? What does it mean by reducing the space between ISRO and common man?
Yes.
But how does it say? Is that to understand where the locomotive is there. So I used to sometime tell with Pern that Indian railways are never late. They are always on time, on paper.
Oh well.
Okay.
I can well imagine.
So now, when I said this in Pern, it really pained us when I was there on the governing council, and we said, okay, can't we really transparent and tell people where the locomotive is so that they can plan the pickups and the drop?
Yeah. If I had
and
it
if you see the agreement which has been signed between ISRO and railway, which was never thought about, and that will tell you where exactly the locomotive is. Now these kind of small things.
So I don't have to wait for the railway
to, and which is always 100% of the time. So I don't want to shy out saying that this never used to happen.
Okay.
Human
all right.
tendency.
Okay.
One more quick point is Gagan, which is coming up in railway. It's a fantastic joint venture between ISRO and railway. Now this kind of common man utility programs were never thought upon.
Well, that's it. That's in the end. It's about everything. Okay, I've got a couple of minutes left.
So I want one last point, which is connecting the dots after what Mr. Mathur said. The RoRo service, which is connecting the north of Gujarat with the south of Gujarat, which is going to reduce this thing. So it is going to reduce the pain on the road.
20 years, was it? 25 years?
So it took 25 years.
Yeah.
And now, why I'm speaking about RoRo, because here you don't have that fear that once I reach there, what do I do? So we can actually drive out your vehicle. So drive in with your vehicle, that is rolling in and then rolling out.
I mean, it's transformative. Most of us would have never done something like this in India.
And this was done in Europe and US maybe
for
3 decades back. So
Yeah.
I don't know why the policy makers and implementers and the governments before this never did it, and why.
Okay, we are 2019, if not 2022. Last word, sir. What needs to happen? What would help? I know you can't predict the budget, and we'll find out on February 1st. But what would actually help? The right areas.
See, the push in the right direction would be liberalization, removing all the hurdles.
What does that mean?
Maybe probably
what hurdles remain that need to go?
Yeah. See, I'll tell you, the old edge, all this policies which are there.
Yes.
Let me give you one small example in the housing itself. The capital gain was blocked for 3 years. If it is made for 2 years, it is going to ease out. It's going to make 1/3 of the capital available to reinvest again. Small things like promoting this. The capital availability at a lower cost, probably. Removing the number of permissions or challans to be filed, probably. This ease of doing business is going to promote. And this is what I think